The courtroom was packed. Reporters shoulder to shoulder, camera shutters clicking like rain. A boy in an orange jumpsuit stood at the defense table, barely 16, head bowed low. The judge's voice echoed through the chamber. Life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. The boy didn't speak. He didn't even flinch. But behind him a mother cried so hard her body shook. It was the sound of a life ending twice. One buried in the ground. Another condemned behind bars. That boy was Aiden Fucci, just 14 years old, when prosecutors said he lured his classmate, Tristyn Bailey, into the woods on a Sunday morning and never let her come out. The crime sent shockwaves through St. Johns County, Florida, and across the nation. But what made this story different, what made it go viral, wasn't just the brutality of what happened. It was what came after. Because while police were still searching for Tristyn, Aiden Fucci opened Snapchat and smiled. This is the story of Aiden Fucci, the 14-year-old who posted after the murder. A story about ego, teenage delusion, and the digital trail that proved everything. Aiden Fucci looked like any other suburban freshman. Baseball cap backward, a few friends, a skateboard under his arm. On social media, he was loud but harmless, posting selfies, song lyrics, and jokes like millions of other kids his age. Tristyn Bailey. 13 was his opposite in every way. An athlete, cheerleader, always smiling in team photos. To anyone scrolling through their feeds, they were just two kids from the same tight-knit neighborhood in St. Johns County. But behind that normalcy, something darker brewed. Classmates later told investigators that Aiden had a fascination with violence. He talked about killing just for fun. Friends brushed it off, teenage bravado, they thought, until his search history revealed the truth. He had looked up how to hide a body. What happens if someone gets stabbed in the neck? How insane do you have to be to plead insanity? Still, no one imagined he would act on it. Not until Mother's Day morning, May 9th, 2021. That was the day Tristyn Bailey vanished. The neighborhood of Durbin Crossing is the kind of place where kids ride scooters until dark and parents wave from driveways. Everyone knew everyone, or thought they did. Tristyn lived just a few houses down from Aiden. Their families weren't close, but the two had mutual friends and often crossed paths. On Saturday, May 8th, a group of teens gathered to hang out, laugh, and push curfew limits. There was nothing unusual, just music, phones, and whispers about school gossip. But when the night ended, Aiden offered to walk Tristyn home. It was barely past midnight when the two were seen together on a home security camera, heading down a quiet cul-de-sac. She was still in her cheerleading outfit. He wore dark clothes and carried a backpack. That was the last time anyone saw her alive. By morning, panic spread across the neighborhood. Parents formed search parties. Flyers went up, volunteers combed the woods. And in a chilling twist, Aiden was among the first to post about her disappearance. On Snapchat, he wrote, "Anyone seen Tristyn lately?" Then, smirking into the camera, he added a selfie from the back of a police car with the caption, "Hey guys, has anybody seen Tristyn?" That post would become evidence. The timeline of that night reads like a horror script told in reverse. 2:25 a.m. Surveillance footage shows Tristyn and Aiden walking together near a retention pond. She's laughing. He's quiet. 4:45 a.m. A security camera farther down the street captures only one figure returning. Aiden Fucci alone 2 a.m. He enters his home. His mother, Crystal Smith, notices his jeans are damp, his shoes muddy. She doesn't ask questions. 2 a.m. Tristyn's family wakes up and realizes she never made it home. They call police. By mid-morning, the entire community is searching. Helicopters circle overhead. Volunteers scour the woods. Then at 6 p.m., a neighbor spots something near a wooded area behind a retention pond. A flash of white and teal fabric. It's Tristyn's cheerleading uniform. The medical examiner later confirmed the unthinkable. She had been stabbed 114 times. The blade left behind fragments of metal in her body. That same evening, detectives knock on Aiden's door. They find a hunting knife in his bedroom missing a tip. His sneakers and sweatshirt are stained with what looks like blood. He's taken in for questioning. On the way to the station, Aiden records another Snapchat selfie, smiling, flashing a peace sign. His friend sitting beside him in the cruiser. The caption, were having fun in the back of a cop car. He was 14 years old. When investigators began digging, the case unraveled fast. DNA tests confirmed the blood on Aiden's shoes belonged to Tristyn. The broken tip of the knife matched the fragments found at the crime scene. His phone painted the rest of the picture. In the hours before the murder, he had searched for how to get away with murder and how crazy do you have to be to plead insanity. Snapchat messages showed him bragging to friends. Bet you can't find her. One classmate told police that days earlier, Aiden had held a knife and said he wanted to stab someone for fun. Another said he often talked about killing people just to watch them die. Even his home security camera worked against him. It captured him returning home barefoot and carrying his shoes. Later, his mother was caught on video washing those same jeans in the bathroom sink, scrubbing out what prosecutors said was blood. When questioned, she denied it. But the footage didn't lie. Investigators pieced together the entire timeline using phone data, GPS, and CCTV. Every step of that walk, every text, every lie. The digital trail was airtight. By 2023, the case had become a national obsession. The courtroom overflowed with reporters, families, and strangers drawn by morbid curiosity. Aiden Fucci, now 16, appeared in a Navy jail uniform, hair neatly trimmed, face pale and expressionless. His defense attorney tried to humanize him. A boy, not a monster, they said. Someone capable of change if only given time. But the prosecution had no intention of softening the story. They played his interrogation tape for the court. At first, Aiden denied everything. Then he changed his story, then changed it again. Finally, he admitted being with Tristyn but claimed she ran away. The jury saw through it. Prosecutors displayed the knife. They read aloud the autopsy findings. And then in a moment that silenced the room, they played his Snapchat videos. His grin, his peace sign, his words, casual, flippant, chilling. The state argued he wasn't confused or unstable, he was proud. He wanted to be remembered, the prosecutor said. And now he will be. Tristyn's family sat just a few feet away, hands clasped, eyes fixed on the boy who had once been their daughter's friend. When Aiden's mother, Crystal Smith, took the stand, she wept. Prosecutors confronted her with the footage of her washing his jeans. Her voice broke. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. The courtroom remained still. Then, in a final statement, Aiden Fucci's father stood and apologized to the Bailey family. There's nothing I can say, he said quietly. But I'm sorry for everything. On March 24, 2023, Judge R. Lee Smith delivered the sentence. He spoke slowly, clearly, emphasizing each word. This was not an impulsive act. It was calculated, premeditated, and brutally executed. Aiden Fucci was sentenced to life in prison, the harshest possible punishment for a juvenile in Florida. He will be eligible for review after 25 years, but the likelihood of release is slim. When the sentence was read, Aiden bowed his head. No tears, no words. Tristyn's family, dressed in teal, the color of her cheer uniform, embraced one another, finally able to breathe after 2 years of agony. Outside, supporters of the Bailey family held up signs reading, "Justice for Tristyn." Across the internet, the case reignited debates about juvenile justice, mental health, and the influence of social media. Some saw Aiden as proof that evil can hide in the face of a child. Others blamed a digital culture that rewards attention at any cost. But inside that courtroom, one truth stood firm. A 13-year-old girl was gone, and no verdict could bring her back. Today, Aiden Fucci spends his teenage years in an adult prison cell. His social media accounts are gone, but his digital shadow lives on. Screenshots, videos, and posts that the internet refuses to forget. Crystal Smith, his mother, was later charged for tampering with evidence. Her trial is still pending. Tristyn Bailey's legacy, however, has outlived the crime. Her family founded a foundation in her name, supporting youth programs and raising awareness about violence prevention. Her teammates say they still wear teal ribbons on their uniforms, because Tristyn's spirit, they say, never left them. The case remains one of the darkest reminders of how quickly childhood can collapse into tragedy. One moment, 2 kids walking through a suburban neighborhood. The next, a national headline about murder, motive, and the internet's obsession with spectacle. So now the question lingers. What drives a teenager to destroy everything? Is it anger, ego, or something more terrifying? A generation desensitized by its own screens. You've heard the evidence. You've seen the posts. Now it's your turn to decide, was this justice? Or just another tragedy that came too late to stop? Stories like this make you think twice about what's really happening behind the screens. Subscribe for more real cases that reveal the truth beneath the headlines.